Is Dajjal control over the food? The answer is yes. In this document, first I will show you the link between Dajjal and the food. Then I will show you how Dajjal's planning for the future food, how Antichrist Dajjal's making a big plan to take control over the food. It's already documented what I am going to tell you. This is connected with the greatest prophecy which is mentioned in Torah, Bible and the Quran. When Antichrist Dajjal will come, he will come with mountain of bread and people will follow him for his bread. Just look today what is happening around the world. This prophecy is now fulfilled. Now the mountain of bread make condition to you. If you follow Dajjal, you will get food, else you won't get the food, which confirms that Antichrist Dajjal will be able to control the food in the end times. Mountain of bread, it's mean the money or the salary which is provided by Antichrist Dajjal for your job. You may not understand right now, but later you will know you are working for the system of Antichrist Dajjal. For that, Dajjal will give you food. And look today, reality, it doesn't matter what kind of job you are doing, all are connected to Dajjal. You just find the chain of Antichrist Dajjal's systems. Now the mountain of bread make condition to you which is connected to Dajjal, meaning you are dependent on Dajjal, dependent on that job. In the other words, you are in a trap of Antichrist Dajjal until unless he given food to you, you won't get the food. This is the possible meaning of mountain of bread. I believe there is a surah has direct link between Dajjal and the food. And we know that Surah Al-Kahf is the blueprint of the modern world. In that surah, every single element will be the major sign of end times. There is a story, young man and the cave. In that story, after they waking up from the long sleep, one says to the others, go to the market and bring the food. Make sure the food should be pure. The question is why they used the word pure, because it's knocking to our head. Food will be corrupted in the end times, because we know only this surah has direct link with Dajjal, so we can anticipate there will be a link between Dajjal and the food. All of this is just the reference to understand the subject. Now we will see how Antichrist Dajjal's making a big plan to take control over the food. It's already documented. What I am going to tell you, which is about to occur in the near future. Take a look.
This is the brother who can tell you how Dajjal is going to control our food. Tell us, how is Dajjal, or how does it seem Dajjal is going to control food? To the Dajjalic system, in a sense, that Dajjal, the Prophet said, will give people a choice of food, right? And those that want to be with him, that's what they'll have to do. Meaning he'll control that system of food. Why is this system of food that is industrialized, that has chemicals? I understand it's bad because of nutrition. So that's one very big reason. But why are they getting control? Like, what's the mechanism that's allowing them to get in control?
Sure. So the statistic is that by 2050, there are going to be 60 to 70% of the population, world's population, are going to be living in cities. So there's a mass migration that's going on into urban areas. And this is by whether this is by design or not by design, it's happening. People are gravitating away from rural and into cities. Now, there are going to be 50 megacities by 2050. And again, that's accelerating. Now, what's a megacity? A megacity is a city that can contain 10 million people or more. We already have those. Chicago, New York, Shanghai, Tokyo. These are all mega cities, and there's going to be 50 of them. Now, when you build a mega city, it's made up of concrete. They're laying ever more concrete without any consideration for food. How are we going to feed them? Well, their idea of feeding people is to drop a Walmart into a megacity and say, okay, Walmart, go ahead, or Amazon, go ahead. Go feed the people. What business are these people in? These people are in the business of selling commodities. They sell glasses, they sell pens, they sell iPhone cases. And now they're in charge of selling our food. So what do they know best? They're basically in the business of commoditizing our food. And so that's what they know best. So they go to a farmer, and they go to a small farmer that has just, encroached onto the border of the megacity that they're building, or the city that's expansive and building. And they go to this farmer, this small farmer, who's making food with love and care. And they go to him, and Walmart says, I want 1,000 heads of lettuces. And the farmer goes, I can't do 1,000 heads of lettuces. I can do 30 per month, or whatever the case may be. And Walmart goes, no, I need 1,000, and they all need to look the same. And then they bypass that person, meaning they marginalize that farmer that's growing food with love and care, and they go to this factory farm, and they say, yeah, sure, we can do it. We just need to expand a little bit more, and they keep expanding, and they keep eating up these small farmers, and they grow food in a factory-based way, like an iPhone cell phone case. And then they send the farms are moving further and further away. We used to live around farms. 100 years ago, one farm used to serve 8 people. Today, one farm on average serves 180 people. So that statistic should tell you something. 100 years ago, there were 6.6 million farms in America. Today, there's less than 2 million, and that feeds into that stat. So what's happening? It means Walmart is driving centralization. As these farmers expand and consolidate, they're all consolidated and expanding under centralized corporations. And here's another statistic for you. There are 4 giant agrochemical companies that control 60% of our seed sales globally. That's an unbelievable centralization and power that's given to these people. The food may be cheap today. It's garbage. I would never shop at Walmart or Costco. I never, as a rule, go to shop Walmart or Costco. If you go to Walmart or Costco to shop for your food, you're basically saying, I'm killing the small farmer. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
They're removing that skill set of love and care farming. It's going to make us sick. If we put that those cows are sad. Those chickens that are grown in these feedlots, they call them CAFOs. I forget what that abbreviation. It'll come to me in a second. They're called CAFOs. 10,000 chickens under one roof, and they're given artificial light. They're not allowed to go outside, and they've turned albino in the meantime.
Yeah, they've turned albino.
I'm not eating that.
Yeah.
I'm not eating that chicken. I'm not putting that. Do you think they're happy? I'm not putting that sad energy into my body.
Yeah. It's a very, very dark situation, especially when you look at the Quran and you notice the relationship between shaitan and food. I mean, it's all over the Islamic literature, but
Yeah.
كُلُوا حَلَالًا طَيِّبًا وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ. Eat from the halal and pure, and don't follow the footsteps of shaitan. Meaning that that if you're not eating halal and pure, you're following the footsteps of shaitan. That we haven't realized that the spirit of the whole food has been taken away.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The ruh,
the light is gone. There's no light. Yeah, there's no light in those chickens.
That they don't want pests eating from the crops. Right? And to do that, they actually get rid or genetically modify it so that they take away the nutrition, so less bugs will come to it.
Yeah. Well, what they're doing is they're injecting, so they're able to spray it with pesticides, and the plant doesn't die, but the insect dies.
Yeah.
And the reason why the plant doesn't die is because they've injected the DNA of the insecticide inside the plant. So the plant doesn't die.
Interesting. So the plant has the DNA of the
Insecticide.
pesticide,
Yes.
the insecticide.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Or the pesticide.
Muslim countries, just like American farmers, that had no choice but to give in to this system, so to say.
Yep.
Muslims who have been naturally cultivating everything organic and so on and so forth, now are told when they take their loans by the IMF, you need to buy these seeds from us.
Correct.
That are those
Terminator seeds. Yes.
Okay, that
the farming knowledge has been extracted from us. People, the children, you'll notice the farmers' ages are above 56 now on average. I think it's above 58 by now. That knowledge is disappearing. That ancient knowledge is disappearing on how to feed humanity. And humanity's feeding is falling into the hands of large corporations. Is that really where you want it to be? They're not growing food with love and care. In the Muslim countries, there's this sense of it's an inferiority complex. You know, we need to cultivate doctors, lawyers, accountants, and send them over to get education on there. No one wants to be a farmer. It's an unsung hero's job. We just kind of cast farmers aside, as they have been. But the statistics are clear. Every great nation has fallen as soon as farming has fallen. As soon as 100 years ago, we had 497 varieties of cabbage. Today we have less than 28. So there's a biodiversity breakdown that's occurring right now in the world. And one of the main reasons for this is the example that you gave, or factory-based farming, production of food, which is happening in a monocrop way. So instead of biodiverse way, it's happening in a monocropping way. They know how to make 1,000 heads of lettuces really, really well in the exact same shape that Walmart wants it. So Walmart is demanding the food. It's not the people. The people do not even know what they want. They think they want something that tastes great. They don't even know. We have the age to remember what a mango tasted like when you bit into it. The children of this generation do not even know that. And so these corporations are able to inject the right trochanols and the polyphenols to give it the not the polyphenols actually, to give it the taste that that'll mimic the taste there. So you talked about the breakdown of society and what Saudi Arabia is doing, and really what the world is doing. And this is where I come in with my solution.
Yes.
So what's happening in the world is there's a new technology that has... So you've got these mega cities. They're so massive that they have to truck food in. And when they truck food in, they need so many preservation techniques to keep it, because on average, it takes about 5 to 10 days after it was produced. I'm not even going to call it farming. I'm not going to give it the compliment of farming. After it was produced and brought into the city, and about, on average, 15 to 33 hands touched it. And before it landed on your dinner plate. That's the journey of your food. So to combat that, what they're doing is they're creating warehouses inside cities, and they're growing food in warehouses. Sounds great, and I say, go, more power to you. But the technology that they're using is called hydroponics. And a lot of Muslims are getting into it. And a lot of Muslims are saying, look at our hydroponic devices, it's great.
But
if anybody cares about the climate or the environment, hydroponics is an extension of industrial agriculture. It's by design. Somebody came up with it. You can grow it. They call it clean. They call it everything except for organic. But now they've gone to the FDA and they've asked the FDA to change the definition of organic to include hydroponics. That is how they call it organic. It is not organic. Organic farming is an island in a sea of chemical-based factory farming. And even our purest food that's labeled as organic is showing up with some sort of trace synthetic chemicals or pesticides. And that's a problem. We have a God-given right to eat the purest food. And then after that, you go and till the world. And if we don't have fresh water, and if we don't have fresh food, and I use the word loosely because when you go to a grocery store and it's labeled fresh, it's anything but that. It's in fact guaranteed to have been sprayed with pesticide if it's labeled pure, all natural, or fresh. And so there seems to be an effort going on by the establishment, and when I say establishment, I mean corporatocracy, to pollute our food, to make them dependent on medicines. It's a vicious cycle. One person did know what was going on in the cell. His name is Albert, something Albert. His name escapes me. Albert Howard. Albert Howard. He was a biologist that lived in the late 1800s, died in the 1930s or 40s. And he started off by using fertilizers, nitrogen. He started experimenting with nitrogen. Plants grew faster. Then he started experimenting. And what he found was, wow, plants grow fast. And this was during the industrial era. And during the industrial era, farmers wanted to compete with their industrial brethren, with their factory brethren. And later on, Howard took it back. He said, no, you're only supposed to grow that. But he was marginalized by that time. And the scientists took over and they ran with it. And that's how the fertilizer industry was born. And that's why we have now a coming storm, because of the Ukraine crisis and the Russia crisis, a coming storm across the globe on fertilizer stranglehold. Because the world, including Pakistan, including the Middle East, including America, has become reliant on fertilizer use. That was started way back in the late 1800s by Albert Howard that reneged that. So it's like a steroid shot, or it's like a heroin shot. Once you give it to the plant wants a little bit more. It wants a little bit more. It wants a little bit more, to such a point the plant, if you keep taking heroin, you're going to eventually get really sick because your immunity is going to die. So the plant's immunity and the soil's immunity has died, and now they're so weak that's when pesticides come. That's when pests come and attack the plant because the plant isn't able to defend itself, and that's when they've come up with the new pesticide industry. And so it's this vicious circle of a heroin addict in plants, and that's where we are today.
If you like this document, please do like and share to others.